Good morning, all of you. We'll resume the chapter Role of the Parliament, and today we will deal with the functions of the Parliament. Now, first important function of the Parliament is to select the national government. Now, it is said to be one of the most important functions of the Parliament, that is to select the national or the union government. You know, after the Lok Sabha elections are over, then the Election Commission, they prepare a list of all the newly elected MPs of India, and the MPs, they belong to different political parties, some even are independent candidates, and then after any political party which has got more than half of the seats, that is 272, and if any party has 272 MPs or more, then that party is in a position to form the government at the center, and the leader of the majority party is asked by the president to form the government, and by default the leader of the majority party, he becomes the prime minister. So for the post of the prime minister, we do not have specific special elections, but the leader of the majority party, by default, he becomes the prime minister. And then from his among party MPs, the prime minister, he chooses some distinguished people, very experienced prominent MPs, and they are included in the list of council of ministers. And on the advice of the prime minister, the president of India, he appoints the council of ministers to the office. If you see on the other side of this page, there's a green box in which it is mentioned Parliament, the Union Legislature, and it consists of the President, the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, whereas the Executive, it consists of the President, the Prime Minister, under him the Cabinet Ministers, then Ministers of State, Deputy Ministers, and they are held by the civil servants. So the Prime Minister, Cabinet Ministers, Ministers of States and Deputy Ministers, they together constitute the Council of Ministers. Now the Cabinet Ministers are those ministers who are in charge of separate portfolios or departments of the government. For example, railways, defense, home, alright, and tourism, education. So they are called as the cabinet ministers, and they are in charge of specific departments of the government. They head the various departments of the government. Then ministers of state are ministers with smaller, lesser important portfolios, or some division of the main department they might be handling. Then the deputy ministers, they help the cabinet ministers and the ministers of state in their job, and all the day-to-day work in the government departments is done by the civil servants. So the council of ministers, which is headed by the prime minister, they together form the executive organ of the government. What does the executive do, by the way? Yes, class 8. What does the executive do?
Mom, it protects the laws made by legislature.
It
Mom, protects the laws that
protects.
everyone is.
Protects.
No, ma'am, putting the laws into effect.
Alright. So they implement the laws. They put the laws into practice. And what does the legislature do?
Ma'am, it makes the laws.
Okay, which is the third organ of the government?
Ma'am, judiciary.
What does the judiciary do?
Ma'am, it interprets.
Okay, it interprets laws and sees that laws are followed, and if the laws are broken, then it punishes the lawbreakers. Okay. Now, the ministers, like I told you, they are allotted different areas of government. The cabinet ministers, like health, finance, defense, education, etc., and they are the heads of the various departments at the national level. And the main work of the executive is to implement the laws which are made by the parliament. Now, the leader of the majority party, who is the leader of the majority party? In the Lok Sabha, he is called the leader of the Lok Sabha. Who is the leader of the majority party right now at the center?
Ma'am,
All right, so he is also the leader of the Lok Sabha. And you know, apart from the ruling party, there are some other political parties and those who oppose the ruling party, and they together form the opposition. And the leader of the largest opposition party is called the leader of the opposition. Now, recent past means leaving these last two elections. In the recent past, it has been seen that a single political party was not able to get majority on its own, and so what happens? It joins together with two or more like-minded parties having same ideology and same ideals. They get along, they come along together, and they form a government. And such a form of government is called as a coalition government. And now the coalition partners, they might support the government from outside also, or and sometimes they might join from inside, means they can have a part in the council of ministers also. So it depends on the coalition parties whether they want to join the government from inside or not. Okay. Now the Rajya Sabha, I told you it is called as a council of states, and so it functions as the representatives of the different states in the parliament, and it being the upper house of the parliament, and the members of Rajya Sabha, they are elected by the state legislative assemblies. And now a bill can be introduced in any house of the parliament. What is a bill? Yes, class.
Any act or any act or law which has to be implemented in the country.
Act, act or law? Yes, anyone else? Where's Yashmit?
Any changes like
Where's Yashmit? He's very quiet. Where are you? Are you there in class?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Beta, tell me, what do you think? What is a
Ma'am, I
bill?
don't know this.
You don't know this. And where is Wahab? Yes. Are you there? You're not in class? Alright. Now, a bill is a proposed law. Alright, Kripa? It is not a law or an act. A bill, when passed, it becomes a law or an act. So, it is a proposed law, or you can say it is a rough draft that is presented in the House of the Parliament. Now,
Yes,
any.
ma'am.
Right. Okay. So, now you know to any ordinary bills or the bills, they can be passed in any house of the parliament, whether the lower house or the upper house. And you know, once they are presented in any house, you might say in Rajya Sabha, so you know, first they present the bill to the house, and then they tell that why they want this certain bill or changes in the law. And you know, then they discuss and deliberate, and some changes are made, then again they discuss, then it is put to vote. If it is passed by one house, it is sent to the other house, again the same procedure is followed, and finally when it is passed by both the houses of the parliament, it is sent to the president for its approval, and if the president, he signs it, then it becomes a law or an act. But the money bills can only be presented in the Lok Sabha and not the Rajya Sabha. So the money bills can only be presented in the Lok Sabha, and that is why the Lok Sabha is said to be more powerful house of the parliament. Did I explain you why which house of the parliament is more important when we started? Did we talk about it or not? Yes or no? Class 8C, are you able to hear me? When I started this chapter with you, did I tell you which house of the parliament is more important, more powerful, and why? Yes?
no, ma'am.
No, I didn't. Okay, what do you think? Which house of the parliament is more important?
Ma'am, they both are important.
They both are important. Okay, I know both are important. I am saying which is little more powerful. It is not important. Important is not the correct word. Which house of the parliament is more powerful?
Lok Sabha.
Huh?
Lok
Lok
Sabha.
Sabha.
Lok Sabha. Okay, right. So though it is called as a lower house of the parliament, but still it is the more powerful house of the parliament. First, because members are directly elected to it by the people. Then because of its numbers also. In case when laws are being discussed and bills are being discussed, so sometimes there's a conflict, and uh, both of the houses, like one house is passed but the other house is not passing the bill, and so uh, there's a standstill, and in that case the president, he asks for a joint session of the parliament, and in that case whatever point is being supported by the Lok Sabha is bound to prevail. The mind or the wish of the Lok Sabha is bound to prevail because of its numbers, because they are more in numbers as compared to the members of the Rajya Sabha. Then, like I told you just now, that the money bill can be introduced only in the Lok Sabha and not the Rajya Sabha. So the Lok Sabha, it controls the money or the finances of the country. Then one more very important thing, sometimes the ruling government may not work according to the wishes of the people, or they have done something against the constitution of the country, and then if the opposition thinks that means now they are they cannot put their confidence in this government, so they pass a bill of no confidence in the parliament, in the Lok Sabha, and this bill can only be passed in the Lok Sabha, and they vote. If the ruling government, they are able to prove their majority, they stay in power, but if they are unable to prove their majority, then their government falls and a new Lok Sabha is elected. So this power the Rajya Sabha does not have, and so the Lok Sabha is the more powerful house of the parliament. And now the president, like I told you, he is a very important part of the parliament, and no bill can become a law till the president, he gives his approval to it. Now the second important function of the parliament is to control, guide and inform the government. Now one of the most vital important function of the parliament is to make sure that the executive, now executive is the ruling government, it is a very powerful body. Once in power, they can do so much, and so it is the job of the parliament to see that the executive, they do not overstep their authority and they do not misuse their power, and they remain responsible to the people who have elected them. And the parliament is also said to be the highest forum of debate in the country, and all the laws, all the proposed laws, everything, or the policies, the programs, they are all discussed in the parliament, and the members are there allowed to talk freely without any fear. Then the parliament, while in session, throughout the year the parliament does not stay in session, but whenever it is in session, it begins with a question hour. Now the question hour is very important. Why? Because during this time the members of parliament, they can ask questions, they can elicit, means they can draw out, they can ask for information from a minister, from a council of minister, regarding the working of the government, and now this question may relate to that particular MP's constituency, or even the functioning of the government in general. Now the ministers, they had different departments of the government, so the members can even ask them questions regarding their own departments, and by all this question answer method, the government is basically they are reminded of their shortcomings, always kept on their toes and prodded to become better and better, and the governments also knows what are the concerns of the people and what are the opinion of the people through their representatives. And it is very important that every MP should ask questions, and the opposition party, they also highlights the drawbacks, the shortcomings in the programs and policies of the government. Now questions are usually, when they are asked, they are usually written down and given to the Secretary General of the House, and the minister, whatever the question is asked, mainly maybe some information is regarded, some data and all, and so the minister may take some time to give the answer and get it from his department. And the member who wants to get a oral answer, now he has to make a star on the question, on the paper on which he asked this question, and so it is called as a starred question. And some questions without stars, they are also asked, and these questions are meant for written answers, and they are called as unstarred questions. Then there are other ways also through which the members are kept in control by the government, and some of these are calling attention notice, adjournment motion. And now basically in this case what happens, the ministers, the members of parliament, they can ask that they want to discuss today some important issue, some burning topic, and they can talk on that issue. And this, the most important motion, the no confidence motion, this I already told you about. And now all matters dealing with finances, the money matters, in that the parliament's approval is necessary. And the final the financial powers, they include giving grants to the states. There are certain times when there's a natural calamity or a problem the states are facing, and so they need to give grants. The central government, they provide grants to them, helps, aid. And then sometimes maybe they are doing a big project in a particular state, and so the central government may also help in that. Then the state governments, according to their needs, if there's any emergency in their state, they can ask money or loans from the contingency fund or the emergency fund from the center. And over all this, the parliament, they only approve. Without its approval nothing could be done. And the budget each year, it is also passed in the parliament, it is presented in the Lok Sabha, in the parliament. And in it, whatever would be the income of the government in that financial year, whatever will be the expenditures, all that is discussed and deliberated in the parliament, and it also had to get the approval of the parliament. Now, so we could say is that the members of parliament, they have a very pivotal, central role in controlling, guiding and informing the parliament about various matters, and this is one of the key aspects of Indian democracy. Then one of the most important basic functions of a parliament is to make laws. Okay, understood till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Any confusion, anybody?
No, ma'am.
Sure, all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
So we'll end today's class at this point only, and we'll continue tomorrow.